Franziska, wie geht's dir?
Ja, ganz gut. Ein bisschen früh, aber ansonsten.
Ja, ne? Tut mir voll leid.
Okay.
Bei uns ist zwar schon 11, aber ich fühle mich auch ein bisschen so, glaube ich. Auch so. Aber bei dir ist 9, ne?
Ja,
Du bist in Berlin, oder?
genau, ja.
Aber wir haben ja noch ein bisschen Zeit. Wir probieren das nämlich gerade noch mit dem Breakaway Room aus. Haben wir nämlich auch noch gar nicht gemacht. Dann zeige ich dir ganz kurz den Ausblick, den wir hier haben. Dann sieht man Nairobi so ein bisschen.
Ich sitze in Berlin-Neukölln. Ich könnte gleich heulen. Oh Gott.
Oh nein,
Oh, wow.
guck mal. So sieht es aus in Nairobi. Ist aber immer so, sonntags ist immer ein bisschen weniger los. Ja.
Ja.
Sonst ist hier immer alles voll. Genau, also ich habe mich noch gar nicht vorgestellt. Ne? Ich bin Susanne vom Goethe-Institut. Genau, und wir haben letztes Jahr mit Thorsten einen Game Jam gemacht
Mhm.
und wollten dann eigentlich die Amaze dieses Jahr nach Nairobi holen. Und dann haben wir aber auch das Funding dafür nicht zusammenbekommen und machen jetzt so eine verkürzte Version, auch aufgrund dessen, dass es einen Corona-Zwischenfall gab, der uns alle immer noch beschäftigt. Achso, und hier, ne? Das Team, das ist Vincenzo. Und hier haben wir unsere Moderatorin, die auch gleich online geht. Genau, und wir sind hier an der Aga Khan University of Media. Die sind ganz nett und stellen uns ihr Studio zur Verfügung,
Ja,
damit wir ein bisschen rumspielen können.
wie cool.
Genau. Ja, und wir machen so ein also wir haben das Festival so zweigeteilt. Wir machen ein hybrides Festival mit physischen Veranstaltungen und digitalen. Und ich glaube, die digitalen gerade, also es ist in Kenia ja sowieso ein Problem mit Daten und Connectivity hat nicht jeder Wi-Fi und so, ne? Und dann mobile Daten, die sind zwar nicht so teuer, aber für 2 Stunden ist dann schon,
Ja.
überlegt man sich halt auch dreimal, was man dann macht, ne? Und ich glaube jetzt irgendwie so Ende des Jahres, ich glaube, hier sind alle müde und haben keine Lust mehr auf den Online-Input. Also nur, dass du nicht, ich hoffe, du bist nicht traurig, sind nicht viele Leute, die sich angemeldet haben, aber ich glaube, die da sein werden, die wissen es auch sehr zu schätzen, ja.
Das ist überhaupt kein Thema. Also ich verstehe das auch. Ich nehme auch nur noch ganz selektiv an Sachen teil. Weil es ja Input gerade. Also,
Dann ist es ja noch viel schöner, dass du da bist.
achso, ja, okay. Und das selber irgendwas vorbereiten man gar nicht mehr im Moment. Aber irgendwie hatte ich Lust, keine Ahnung. Und es war jetzt auch ganz gut. Ich hab jetzt tatsächlich 2 Tage Workshop selber mitgemacht. Als Teilnehmerin. Und es ist schon cool, was man da so machen kann. Also es gibt, ich versuche so ein paar Tools wieder zu verwenden. Ja, aber ich bin gespannt.
Cool. Cool. Ja, Vincenzo ist hier gerade noch damit beschäftigt, den Livestream so am Laufen zu halten.
We are about to go live. Perfect. I hope you can hear us. We will be live shortly.
You have your mic on. So it's possible. Okay.
We are about to join you live.
Also ich bin gerade eh nicht mehr angestellt, aber im Angestelltenverhältnis, dass man während Corona steht man um Viertel vor 10 auf, dass man um 10 auf Arbeit ist. Und deswegen ist alles irgendwie davor schon kritisch, wenn man dann früh aufstehen muss. Aber ist okay.
Welcome to Jibambe Na Tec Festival. This is our last exciting day of this amazing festival. We've been having workshops, we've been having chats, talks, panel, and it's been amazing. Today, we want to tone it down a bit, but for a very important session, we want to understand how do you find your purpose? How do you define your vision? How do you go about understanding the work that you do? We have an amazing workshop right now with Franziska Zeiner, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I will try it again, Franziska Zeiner. I hope I got it right. Anyway, this session is led by Franziska. We are so excited to have her. I will hand over the session to her. But please, if you have any questions, post the questions or comments in the chat if you're following us on YouTube. We will consolidate all the questions and then we will send it to Franziska. Please also share this link with your friends so that they can get to experience this amazing festival like we are. Franziska, are you ready?
Yes.
Perfect. Franziska, it's your session. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm going to share my screen now. All right. I like how it's 2020 and we're all still struggling with very basic tech things. And it's not like we haven't had almost a year to practice. Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me in this workshop, which is about finding and defining your vision. Thank you so much for the invitation to Amaze Festival, to Goethe-Institut. I think as a German, it's always quite an honor to be invited by Goethe-Institut because it's a very nice institution. So I'm really excited to be here. I'll be going through some slides. There will be some interactive parts, so I'll be jumping in and out of presenting. But let me start by briefly introducing myself. So my name is Franziska Zeiner. That's how you pronounce it, Sheila, but I don't mind my name being butchered at all. So I started out studying economics at a school in France. And I think it was because I always cared about, saving the world or making the world a better place. And that was always something that fascinated me. But during my studies, I realized that the jobs that follow that, they're not jobs that I actually want to do. They're usually quite boring, or they put me in a position that I don't want to be in. So I went into advertising, quite logical next step. Thought it was quite interesting because it's very creative. But also realized that it's not at all what I wanted to do. But it was during a time that gamification became a thing. So Jamie Gonigal had written her book, what was it called? Super Better, I think. And it was all about how can we use games to do good, to do better. And I found it very fascinating and decided to get a master's degree in game design. After that, I worked at Vuga and at Huge Games. I also freelanced as a game designer. Most of that was in casual and hyper casual free-to-play gaming. So hyper casual is about 30 seconds of gameplay sessions. Casual is the Candy Crush type of games where you play about 3 minutes at a time. And I really enjoyed it. I think in gaming as a game designer, I've really found what I'm passionate about. But I've always had this hinge that I do want to start my own company. So earlier this year, I co-founded my own game studio together with Lea Schönfelder, who's also a game designer. It's called Fein. And I quit my job halfway through the year, and I'm now the managing partner at Fein. Fun fact, I don't know, my favorite game of all time is Kentucky Route Zero. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend. But I would also say that I'm completely addicted to Candy Crush Soda Saga. Celebrating its 6-year anniversary right now, and I'm still playing, which is maybe a little bit embarrassing. So I'm not sure how many people here in the actual workshop, but for those of you who are, I think Roy is there. I would love to know a little bit about you, who you are, where you're based, what your role is, or how you would describe it, and what your motivation is for joining this workshop. So maybe if you're there, you can speak up.
All right, thank you. So my idea, basically, initially I started out as a graphic designer, and it was really hard because I actually wanted to do animation, and I wasn't sure if there were any schools or anything, and was really hard finding a school of people who can do it. So once I did it, I did graphic design. Then I got onto the internet, and then I realized that all these things intertwine. So as I journeyed on, I met other people who do game development, and my first game actually I did in 2015 for my BTech in
I think
technology
we
and
lost you
design.
slightly.
All of it. Sorry.
We lost you slightly. Do you mind also
Oh,
putting on your video so that at least we can see you? But if you mind, it's also fine.
uh, okay. Let me just put on the video. No problem.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me just open it.
And yes, and carry on with your
All
introduction.
right.
Perfect.
So where
We
was
can see
I?
you.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not the best story, but yeah, I just started out with graphic design, and then I started venturing into 2D design, because also there's a challenge, of course, with the 3D when computers having trouble rendering. So so through the years, as I discovered there were other people who are doing graphic game design, and I was fortunate. Like, I also work at a university, and I was fortunate to also meet lecturers who came in and also doing the kind of thing that I do, which is interactive media design. And that's how I also ventured into it. And 2015, I did my first game. It's called Wafiam, but I didn't like it so much, so I decided I'll put it. So I actually deleted everything from my computer, because I was like, I have to do something else with it. So I decided now, when I learned that there's also some game documents that I'm supposed to be doing, because I didn't follow the process, then I decided now I'll go into it head on. Then in 2018, I think is when I saw the call for the Enter Africa project. Then I realized, oh, there's so many things that are going on in gaming, and I actually have to, and I actually didn't know about gamification that much. So when I also saw the I got the opportunity to work with Enter Africa, then I saw there's actually a big growing community and the people who are into it. And I decided, yeah, so my motivation mainly is the community. I'd say talking to people about the challenges, um, and then also like the fact that there's an adventure in it, like like the new venture, like it's a new thing, and the fact that it's also we're discovering new stuff in it. There's always also the technology itself is very the communities, like in the Unity and all these communities, are very good at understanding. So yeah. So my motivation basically is always the art part of it as a community.
That's awesome. I think one thing, or at least that's my take on it. Something that makes the games industry so special and unique is that's rather, in a way, it's very young, and people come from many different disciplines, and it makes it very unconventional in some ways. All right. Can you see? Let me share my screen again. All right.
Yeah, we can see.
So for those of you that are here, even those of you that are on the stream, I would like you to go to this website called menti.com, or you can just take a picture of or hold your camera onto the QR code, and it should open. All right, so go to menti.com and you enter the code 3069985. And there are two questions for you. First one is, what's the best thing that has happened to you this year? What gave you hope? And what are you excited about? Something positive that happened this year. You can enter a couple of answers. And while you're doing this, we'll switch briefly.
Sorry, could you just revert to the code?
Yeah, give me a second.
30.
Yeah, can you see it?
Yes.
Yes. I'm just writing it down, then you can switch back here. All right, thanks.
All right. Has anyone entered anything already?
Maybe we might want to repeat the code. Let me just mention to the people on YouTube.
There we go.
3, yeah.
So the code is up here as well. It's 3069985. All right, we have nothing, faith, getting rich, family, myself. Humans, community, cats, great, cats. People standing up. Election USA, Fridays for Future, the future. All right, so now I have to move to the next slide. All right, there is a second question. What are the things that really upset you this year? Something that got you angry, something that's nagging your mind, something that really pisses you off. It can be about something personal, it can be about society, politics, your country, the industry. We have the Orange Man, COVID, staying home, politics. Yes, yes to all of that. How ignorant people can be, division of society, finance, misdirection, people not listening, intolerance. Zoom. Yeah. Negligence, live streaming, paranoia, know-it-all, vmix. Not sure what vmix is, but all right. Distance. All right. let me jump back to my presentation. All right. So I think we can all somehow agree that 2020 has been an odd year, and the world as we knew it has been put to a stop. At least right now, we're in this kind of in an in-between phase. I don't think we've ever experienced this before. I hope we'll never experience this again. And for many, this hasn't been easy, but I can speak for myself that I think for me, it's also been a time of reflection. I have the privilege that I can think about, I can reflect on my past life, I can reflect on my current life. And yeah, it's a privilege that I can do that. I don't have to worry about my basic needs. And I've come to realize that this privilege, it also comes with responsibility. Do I really live up to my responsibilities? I can reflect on those, on my life. I can reflect on society. And for me, the logical conclusion is that it is my responsibility that I must do something about it, that I must be part of change. In German, we have this saying, because it's Goethe-Institut, I wanted to say at least, throw in at least one German sentence. It's 5 vor 12, which means it's 5 minutes to 12. And I think the English translation is high time. We are running out of time. And I just believe that we cannot keep going the way we are right now. I think a lot of things are wrong in society, in the way we interact with each other. No one really listens to each other anymore. We've completely lost or unlearned how to communicate with someone that has a different opinion to ours. And I think that's quite tragic. At the same time, it's also everything is about profit. I think if you look at the games industry, there's one exit after another. Big companies having IPOs, companies being bought, and there's so much money being exchanged right now. And it's all about that money. People start their own companies to become rich. But I fundamentally believe that for us, ethics, morality, and purpose, they really belong in any profit-driven business of tomorrow. I think, like I said, if we keep on going, there will be no future for our children, and we must change our attitude towards profit-driven business and incorporate for purpose into these. So I spoke about, I mentioned earlier that I co-founded a game studio earlier this year, and we call ourselves Fein. Now, Fein is a boutique game studio crafting charming interactive novels with cultural relevance. That's our tagline. That's how we present ourselves. But I think it's really only the surface level of it. And I went back into our material and I took some screenshots. And it started with the why. Why are we doing this? And these are obviously, it's just a part of it, but these Post-it notes represent what we were thinking about when we were starting out our company. So things that were on our mind were that we want to be proud to work for Fein. We want there to be fairness, transparency. We want a 4-day work week. We don't want crunch. We really care about artistic expression. We noticed that there is, I'd call it a middle management burnout. So everyone that enters middle management, they burn out. They're fighting the top and the bottom in their companies. We really want to identify with our work. We care about a work-life balance. We want family to be possible in the work context. We care about diversity, and as 2 female co-founders, we're really upset by the gender pay gap. So those are motivations that we had when we went into starting our own company. And obviously there were others, like I think there are actually 3 big groups. One is fame in the broad context. One is obviously money. And I forgot the others. But there are a couple of big groups of why people do certain things, that like intrinsic motivation. But going into more detail, those were things that were on our minds. Now, from that why, we from that why, we went into the what. And what, I mean, what can mean many things. It can mean, what are you actually doing? But it's also, how do you define yourself? So for Fein, we did a brainstorm and basically came up with this board where we defined what we want to be. So it was always very clear that we wanted to be a boutique game studio. It was something, it was a word that resonated with us. Boutique game studio also means you stay small for quite a while. And that allows us to do a lot of the things that I've mentioned in the why. So in terms of transparency, for example. But then we also went into, what are we going to craft? So we wanted to do playable stories, personal fiction. They should be charming. Charming was a word that we liked. We wanted to do interactive novels or fiction, two words that we were playing around with. We discussed a lot how we're going to deal with us being two female co-founders. How do we, is that something we want to mention in our vision or not? It's always a tricky topic because you don't want to be reduced to your gender or your skin color, but at the same time, it's something that defines you. So how do you deal with that? Yeah, so that's how we came to form our vision. And what I guess what I'm trying to say with that is that you see, you see this tagline, and it's very, I guess it's very catchy, but there are many layers after that bring this tagline. And I think it's very important to reflect on these things because that's what gives you purpose. So with that being said, I would like to officially open the workshop time and include you in some exercises. So for those of you that are in the actual workshop, I ask you to go to this website. I would like us to work with a tool called Miro. And I can actually, let me post it in the chat, then it's easier. One second. So, posting a link here.
Yeah. Miro is so cool.
Yeah, I hope it works for everyone. I'm gonna give you a few seconds to join. All right, I see Sheila and Miro. Let's wait for a few more people. Awesome. Roy is there. Are you going to join us in Miro? Cliff? Maybe I have to repost the link. All right, so this is obviously a hypothetical exercise. I mean, you never know. Maybe we'll be starting our own game studio in the future. But I would like us to imagine that we are co-founders of a gaming startup, and we are trying to find our vision. We're trying to find our purpose. And so I think we will be expand this a little bit so we'll post this for everyone. All right, I will be sharing my Miro board so you can all follow along. All right, so for those that are in Miro, I would like us to start by 3 to 5 minutes. We're not that many, so I don't think it'll take that long. Take one of these stacks of the why post-it notes and think about why are you starting this business? Why are we doing this together? And start brainwriting for a few minutes, and then we'll chat about it. So you can obviously create new post-its, or you can take one of these stacks that I've prepared with the why on it. So similar to the question about what, well, I guess both questions. What brought you happiness this year and what upset you this year? Those are reasons of why you do certain things. All right, let me reshare the link to you, Cliff. So if you have a hard time navigating
yes. So because I'm trying.
So
my sticky, then I'm.
Can you click on one of those post-it notes? Anyone?
Yeah. Yes.
Does it say edit somewhere, or when you click on it?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, now it can edit. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So the quickest way to edit, if you're struggling and you're just placing arrows and moving things around, the quickest way to get into the edit mode is to just double tap on one of those sticky notes, and then you're able to change the text on it. And I don't want you to, don't think too much about it, just write down what comes to your mind. I'll give you another minute to just write down a few ideas, and then I would like us to briefly present the post-it notes that we've wrote and to cluster them. So meaning we'll rearrange them on this canvas, and we'll move similar post-its together. All right, so staying within the defining the problem and finding the purpose, so the why of why are we doing this. Let me just start by presenting my post-it notes, and then please speak up if you want to move yours in as well, if you want to cluster them. So so one motivation is obviously money. We are in this industry where there's a lot of money, and we see other people making good profit. And I guess, yeah, I want to be part of that. I also want to find that. I also want to have that. That is one motivation. So in case I see another money up here, so maybe I'm just gonna move that close to it. So we're clustering it. And that just shows that multiple people are thinking about it. One other motivation I have is that I would like to be my own employer. I'm sick of working for other people. I want to define the rules by which I work. I want to define the rules of how we work together, the values we have as a company. I would like to be the one that defines it, or that has a say in that. Again, let me see. Does anyone have something that is similar? A post-it note that goes in a similar direction? I see another money. Move that over. Now, what else do we have? I wrote down that we do need more diversity in games. And I think that goes into the level of diversity of the type of games we make. And for me, the only way that we can get there is we have more diversity of people who are making games. I think there's one post-it note that I'm just gonna, diversity, excellent. There's also changing perception of female gamers in Africa. I think that for me, that goes in a somewhat similar direction, if I'm not wrong. So I'm also gonna move that over. Diversity inclusion also goes along with that. Something that's really important to me is that I want to be part of the discussion. So something that I've noticed while being employed is that you're always an employee. You're just one among many. And if you have an opinion or if you have something to say and if you want to push for change, starting your own company really puts you in a different position. And I find it very fascinating. It's kind of weird because everyone should be invited to this discussion, but the reality is a little different. So for me, starting my own company, I was definitely driven by, I would like to be invited to certain tables. I'm going to make space for myself at that table. I'll move that here. Then in terms of the games we make, the games on the market, they bore me a little bit. I think there must be more must be possible. I want to tell stories. And last but not least, I think fame in the broadest context is something that I find interesting because it's not so much about being known, but about, I guess, the reach that comes with it. So when you are trying to propel something for good, a reach is definitely helping. Does anyone else want to speak up and maybe move their post-it notes into this beginning of a cluster? If not, I'll be moving them for you. But you also, I guess both Roy and Cliff, you're more than welcome to speak up.
All right, so when I wrote about the investors, basically, like that's around the finance matter, like money. Because you see, basically, like the challenge normally when you are approaching this kind of thing, you don't know who to approach as an investor. So, and we can't do it because we are always moonlighting, like we are doing our day jobs and we're working on this project, but we'd like to have the money to actually have this, I mean, we'd like to have the opportunity and the time to actually work on our projects. But since we're employed, we do this over the weekend and possibly in the afternoon or do it between lunch hour, that kind of thing. So investors for me is important because it's a money aspect too. Because once you get on the table and you're able to discuss your options, then you have the money to facilitate your projects.
Excellent. I'm just going to move this for you. I'm going to move it into the money category. Yep. Please keep on going.
Sorry.
Let me move that back. Oh, it doesn't really matter. I think Miro is really good in many things, but it's also quite tricky to use.
I don't know. Yeah, and then the challenge is I'm working on a tablet, so the screen is a bit.
Then I will move them for you, but you can describe the post-it notes that you've written, and I'll just move them into the clusters for you, if that's okay.
All right, thank you. All right, there I can see communities. Someone's written about community, and I've also written communities. So, like, usually the challenge, like yesterday during the discussion, there's a in Kenya, like for people who do games and people talk. And actually, there's one that is really functional. It's called the Africa Games, Africa Game Developers, and there's another one called Into Africa. But the biggest challenge, I guess, is communication in the community, because like getting the word across, like there's a meeting and this kind of thing. So people really tend to go work in their own shells and then come out with projects, and then
I lost
yes,
you.
I believe community is a very big problem when it comes to. No, I was talking about community.
Yep. I think I've heard most of
Can you
it.
hear me?
Yep.
Okay, okay.
Where would you move that? I guess
All right,
maybe.
I'm trying to see the top part, because
I mean, it could be part in a similar direction of like wanting to be part of a discussion. So I think
yeah, okay, yeah.
thought exchange.
But also, you see, where this opening opportunities for female gamers, because that also builds a community, right? Or that's
Yeah.
or that's different.
I think we can move it into a one big cluster. I guess. I also see a community here.
Community, and then we can fill all that there.
All right, let's try and move the other ones, cluster them as well. So anyone who wrote anything, feel free to move them into an area that feels fitting. It doesn't have to be perfect, like it doesn't have to match perfectly, but just trying to group general topics.
Yeah, so maybe I could just give some feedback. So I can group creativity and finding new things.
Mm-hmm.
I can't move it. Maybe you can move it for me.
Okay, where would you like me to move them?
So where there is tell stories. Yes, and also finding new things.
Now I'm locked.
Oh wait, I think I was. I think you can move it now. I was on edit.
You're locked.
Yeah.
Oh, that explains it. Still learning so many things about this tool.
Okay, and then so exploration can be also starting over. So with exploration, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and my why not is yeah, just to have fun, or maybe to just dare yourself to do something, just create on something that you've never dared to do.
Yeah, I'm thinking like the whole be my own employer, like maybe that could fit. Then
Yeah.
to have fun is also running your own company. I mean, it's not always fun, let me tell you that. I mean, you're writing the rules.
Yes, you write the rules. Yes, it's tough at times. Yes, but yeah, why not? It's something that probably maybe you've invested on, so you probably need to just put on some time and work on it.
All right, I'm gonna move some more. We have collaboration that also fits into that. Trust. Where would trust fit?
All right, trust can also go with community, because for community to thrive, there has to be trust.
Yeah. Then community barriers. I guess it also goes into the whole community diversity.
Yeah.
Then gatekeepers. Gatekeepers as in, there are gatekeepers, we are gatekeepers.
Franziska, maybe you can share your screen again.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize it was off. So you can just see me drink coffee. Okay, excellent. Now you can you see it?
Yes, we can see it. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Then maybe also for the participants, when we talk, maybe we can open our videos.
No one's gonna speak from now. No. All right. So we have building. Where building, I guess, goes into creativity. You're building something. Gatekeepers. I'm still not sure what exactly is meant with that, but we can leave it on the side for now. And I see 2 post-it notes. Why? Because we all want to have fun, and we want to make fun of the hipsters with long beard. I guess we can create a special corner for the good jokes up here. Oops. All right, so just to quickly summarize what we have here. We do have a little bit out because it doesn't quite fit. So there's quite a big cluster that is about community, supporting female gamers. And I see some text here. Copy that and post it. Oh no, okay, now it's gone. We have quite a big cluster that is about community, diversity, trust, being part of a discussion, changing the perspective, the perception of female gamers in Africa, supporting female gamers. So I think that that's quite a strong purpose of wanting change. Then there's obviously the purpose of we want to build something, we want to tell stories. We want to find new things, new ways of playing games, maybe new forms of gameplay. Then undeniably, money and investments is a big motivation. I think that is just the world we're living in. Maybe we see other people having that success and it upsets us that we're not having that success. Why is there such a large wealth discrepancy? Let's just join this. And yeah, then there's another really big cluster about collaboration, co-creation. We want to have fun. We want to explore. Why not? Why not start your own game studio? Being your own employer. The gatekeepers here. Excellent. So we are, let me stop sharing for a second. We are almost halfway through the workshop. How's everyone feeling? Can you give me a quick thumbs up, thumbs down, or nothing at all? Right, sitting in the dark.
Hype.
All right, so awesome.
Thumbs up.
Great. All right, so since I was gonna play some music as an intermission, but since this is streamed on YouTube, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. So I would like you to just stretch for a second and basically stretch your arms out wide and to the back.
Oh.
Yes, yes, oh, good. Right, up top. Now put your hands behind your neck and stretch. Ooh, wonderful. And now the best part of it all, please get up.
Right?
All right. Take your chair.
What?
Whoa.
Get up. Take your chair.
Mine is so heavy.
I'm really sorry for the heavy. Put it on your head. And now let's do 5 squats just to get fit again, to move your body. Oh, Susanna, I'm so sorry for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Ooh. All right.
Ray has a virtual chair.
Maybe take a sip of water if you need.
That was good.
Yeah, or open the window for a second if that helps.
So I'm guessing what's next is very intense.
Say it again.
So I'm guessing what's coming next is very intense.
I couldn't hear what you're saying, but
He's saying he's guessing what is coming up next is quite intense.
I was saying
oh. No, it's just I wanted to give you a like halfway break. We are going back to Miro again, and let me share my screen. And please let me know if you can't see Miro. Yes. So I would like us to move on to the second part of this, which is the what. So I'm going to copy them a few of them more so everyone has their own set. Oops. So we've identified a few clusters, money, creation, collaboration, building something, and the entire community aspect. So the question right now is, how are you going to do that? How are we going to do that? And so please take some post-it notes again and just write down ideas what that could be. How are we going to achieve those goals? How are we going to achieve that purpose that we've set out to do? Obviously, the purpose is, I wouldn't say all over the place. I think it all fits together. But we obviously probably have very different companies or products in mind, and that's totally fine. Just write down what you think, what you would like to do. Yeah. You can also, if there are words that you really like, adjectives that you like, these also go into that. And I guess for those of you that are watching on the stream right now, if there's something that you would like us to write down that you think would make sense, then you can probably just post it in the chat and we'll pick it up. I see everyone writing a lot more post-its this time, and I contribute that to our little sport activity just now. All right, I'm gonna give you 2 more minutes just to write down what's on your mind. All right, so looks like I'll let Roy finish his post-it and then I'll get started. A very good one, even though everything is great, obviously. All right, so let me just start, and feel free to move post-it notes as I speak. So something that I'm quite interested in is something regional. I spoke about wanting more diversity in the games we make through a more diverse game creator community. And something that I have in mind, something that we also do at Fein, is that we should be telling more personal stories, more regional stories, because I think a very good example is always the movie Parasite from Korea. Maybe some of you have watched it. It won an Oscar, and it's a really regional story, but it has a very international appeal. And I find that encouraging. So it's something I want to do more. I want us to be vocal, to speak up. I don't want to be afraid, I guess it goes in the same direction. So maybe being very political sometimes or very bold can be good. I want to be open-minded. I want us to have discussions. I want there to be an exchange. I want to make games for everyone. And then a very, very cheesy last post-it notes is be the change you want to see in this world. I guess be a leader of something. Be someone people can look up to. Be good. I think that goes maybe in this direction. Handing over to Cliff or Roy, if you would like to. Speak about your post-it notes, and I can move them for you. Oops.
Maybe I can just go. So for my post-it notes, I would put future mindset and open-minded.
Do you want me to move it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Culture and way of living. I think maybe it can go with the regional, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Surrounding. Just a moment. I'm trying to zoom, so I can't see it very well. So surrounding can go with unique urban scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
I think that let me find out other things.
Yep.
I think that's what I have now.
Awesome. I also see local stories, international relevance. I'm going to move that to regional. I think that's very interesting. Rethinking graphics from a different perspective. I guess that's its own category. Vincenzo, you're locking one of the cards. Maybe you can. The politically challenging. Yeah, perfect. Now I think I can move it. Politically challenging. I'm going to move that to the. Yeah. Then rethink storytelling from a different perspective. Someone wants to rethink a lot. It's great. I guess I'm going to move my open-minded one into that category because it was less about being open-minded, which of course we should be, but I guess open-minded towards what types of games we make. I think game jams are often a really classic example of that. That half the games that come out of a game jam are puzzle platformers. And puzzle platformers can be great, but it's a little bit boring if we just develop the same games over and over again, and there are no twists, there's nothing innovative. So I think rethinking how we do things and what we do is really interesting. All right, I'm moving over to, I think, Roy's stack, if you want to speak up. If not.
All right. Okay, what I see off the bat, like combine new worlds with future mindsets. Combine new worlds. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Cool. So combine new worlds, the future mindset, because it's challenging the norm and thinking out of the box in some way.
This here, I think this.
Okay. Listening.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Listen and engage. We'll go with the discussions and exchange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wonderful.
I think also communicate better, possibly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I wrote that, but I just wrote it. I thought maybe it could work somewhere, but then create more for where it's I saw it. Yeah, I think you can go with rethinking graphics from a different perspective. Basically, yeah, for the time being, as I think where else I can place it. Maybe I could copy, I could make another one. Then all right, yeah. Maybe you could also help me, or Cliff.
Yeah.
Someone else, maybe they see.
Fail fast and create more.
Yeah.
Kind of keep them together. I think that's very interesting. It's talks about how we work, like our mentality when we are creating. The fail fast is from where I come from in the industry, which is free to play. We fail all the time. Actually, most of what we do is fail. We test early, we soft launch a lot, and I mean, it can be really heartbreaking, but I think it's a really good mindset, because obviously we tend to fall in love with our games very quickly. But we need to really fail fast, because that is we're often wasting time if we don't accept that we are failing. Follow through. I think that's the really good. The other side of it. Sometimes you need to just follow through with it. You need to polish it to really bring that vision together. Then submit to change in a good way. I would put this to my cheesy, be the change you want to see in this world. I think that I'm glad someone shares that romantic side. Share my vision, share my vision. Where could that go? Maybe here into the engage, discussions, share, and facilitate, I think also goes into that. All right. So, okay. So now we have, we've identified the problems we see. We've identified our purpose of why we are doing it. And we've also identified some solutions for it. And in a very last step that is probably going to be a little messy, I would like us to come up with a final one phrase that defines our game studio. So for that, I'm going to, first of all, our game studio is called, it's going to be embarrassing, Jibambe. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, Jibambe.
Perfect. Jibambe Studios. That's the name of our highly successful game studio. And just to be, just to limit ourselves a bit, we will be making games. There's no way around it. So, using these two as given, let's go in and please speak up as well. If you're in the workshop, of what type of games, how is Jibambe Studios going to make those games? Let's create one sentence, and for that, just take the post-it notes that we have written, that you've written, that others have written, and let's try and form a sentence. For example, we will make games that are local stories with international relevance. So I'm just going to move that there. These games are for everyone. Speak up if you have any ideas of how we're going to do this.
Unique African urban scenarios.
I like that. Where would that go? Maybe instead of local stories with, or I'm just gonna post them together.
Yeah.
All right. So what else? We will have, will we be open-minded, or will we have a future mindset? What wording resonates better with you?
A future mindset.
All right. Yeah, it's a little more avant-garde. So with a future mindset, we will create more. Oh, this is good. It fits. So with a future mindset, Jibambe Studios will create more games that tell local stories that are internationally relevant with a unique African urban scenarios. I'm gonna yeah. Well, and they're relevant for everyone. Are we missing anything from our vision statement? Maybe we will, with that, we will facilitate better.
I was gonna say, I was thinking it's also good to listen to what people have to say. So listen and engage. So create games for everyone with local, international relevance, with unique stories that
Yes.
from unique African people. Necessarily engaging so that we can facilitate or something. The flow is in my head, but
Okay. I mean,
I'm not
the
speaking
sentence
it
is
out
not
well. Yeah.
grammatically correct in any ways, but that's not at all the purpose of this.
All right. Could you possibly zoom in a bit?
That enough?
Okay. Yes. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. But let me just see how it is on YouTube, maybe for the other people. Could you possibly zoom in a bit?
Even more? Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm also going to put a onto our sentence. So
sorry about the background noise.
I'm not managing to put a proper background in it. But so basically what we've come up with is with a future mindset, Jibambe Studios will create more games for everyone, telling local stories with international relevance in unique African urban scenarios to listen and engage and facilitate.
To facilitate, listen, and engage.
So, okay, that's really good. Yes?
Also, it's very important to. I was thinking about the issue where they say stories from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it says stories from the past. Yeah, because usually, okay, from my understanding, people say that it's good to know where you're coming from, to know where you're headed.
Yeah. I find, so what is, I mean, we have 3 post-it notes here that are very specific about cultural relevance. And I totally understand that desire because, you know, it's fun to play mind-numbing shooter games, but I think games, we're also learning that games can be so much more than they currently are. They can, I mean, I think we still struggle with, as a games community, that people look down on games as, you know, a lesser form of entertainment. It's for you know, young people, and I think we have a chance and an opportunity to just really use it as a medium to tell our stories, to fascinate everyone with it. Yeah, I think that's so. This is really nice what we've come up with, because it even makes sense. That's you never know what comes out of it. So I'm going to read it out one last time since we've added one more story. So with a future mindset, Jibambe Studios will create more games for everyone, telling local stories with international relevance in unique African urban scenarios, with stories from the past to listen and engage and to facilitate. So I congratulate my 2 co-founders on wonderful game studio. And I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so you can see my face again. And I think we're almost nearing the end of this workshop. There's happy to keep the conversation going and to keep discussing. But what I wanted to show you with this exercise is that, I mean, it comes from the fundamental belief that I do think we need to add more purpose to our work. I think we have an opportunity to push for change for the better, that we can be profit driven, but purpose should play a role. And I think the times when purpose-driven companies were charities, I think that's completely over. And does anyone want to say anything? Any feelings you have about our vision statement of our future company that we just founded?
I just. So when do we begin? First game.
Yeah, very good
This is the problem with my internet, yeah?
When do we begin? I mean, it's Sunday. How about we have our first stand-up tomorrow, Monday at 10 a.m. Berlin time. That's noon your time.
Absolutely. I think we should. When are we
Cliff, how
registering
are
it?
you feeling? You're
Cliff, you're
muted.
muted.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'll be providing coffee for everyone.
Perfect.
Wonderful. Yes, I mean, I hope you guys had fun. I hope you can take this. This exercise, also the tool Miro. I hope you can take this with you. Maybe you can use it in maybe you've already founded a studio and you can use it in your studio. You can share it in your community, because I think it's just, it's an interesting exercise to do. And for me, when I co-founded my studio together with Leah, that was our process. We had obviously there were many discussions and many months before that happened, but at some point we knew we needed to nail down one catchy sentence, and that was our process to it. There's always what do you communicate to the outside, and then what the discussions you have on the inside. So as I've shown earlier, we really want to change the gender pay gap, and that is obviously not in our vision statement, but it is a post-it note that defines the backbone of who we are. And I think having those discussions with your co-founders, with your team, I think are really important, so you can find purpose together, and then even when it's hard, you kind of know why you're doing all of that. So let me share my screen one last time. Say thank you to all of you for participating. I hope you had fun, you take something away. For everyone on the stream, I hope you had fun as well. Maybe you learned something as well. And yeah, please stay in touch. That's my email address, franziska@fein.games. You can find us on Instagram and also LinkedIn if you want to be more professional about it. Yeah, I hope to hear from you. I'm looking forward to the stand-up on Monday. Looking forward to the coffee, Cliff, not forgetting about that. And yeah, I think that's it from my side. We're done.
Thank you. Do you have any questions from the participants?
Thank you, Franziska. Your name it's hard to pronounce. Franziska. Yes.
Oh, perfect. That's I mean, and that just the name.
Awesome.
Well, thank you too. I think a workshop is nothing if participants don't participate, and I was very happy to see how engaged you were. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a comment from Cliff as well in the chat. He says, thanks so much. It was really awesome. And Susan says, it was a very interesting and awesome session. I agree with both of them.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me see if we have any questions on YouTube or comments. Yes, go ahead.
I just had a question.
Yes, just go ahead. Roy, are you still there?
Sorry, no, I just had a question about yeah, like
we can hear you. Keep going.
I just wanted you to establish. Yeah, I'm still there. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Or maybe I could type it out. Let me type it. Okay, that's fine. So no, I just want to find out how long did it take you to get started?
Maybe you can really type it up, because I only hear bits and pieces.
So he's asking, how long did it take you to start up?
So let me just type it out, then possibly you could answer me through the video.
Okay. So I think if I got his question right, he was asking how long did it take you before you started and the process to start?
Good question. So I had been working in games for 6 years, and I think I started speaking on the phone with Leah, my co-founder, last summer. So over a year ago, I think that's when we started talking about, could this be a thing? We had been industry friends. At some point, we turned friends, and we just started speaking on the phone over a month of what could this be? What do we envision? Why do we want to do this? I think one of the earliest conversations we really had was about the whole, like, is it for money? Is it for fame? Like this fundamental motivation of why we're doing it, just to understand without judging if the other had a different motivation, but to really understand where they're coming from. Also, we were two game designers, so we were wondering if maybe we are too similar in terms of our skills. It turned out that we come from very different parts of the industry, so it's really not an issue. Leah is the creative partner. She's taking part of that side of the vision, and I'm taking care of more of the business side. And then in terms of actual steps, so we established the company in February this year, just before Corona, and I don't think we realized how lucky we were when we did this. And ever since then we are a legal entity, and now we've been in the fundraising process. And I think one thing that was really important for us is that we're not going to do this without being funded. So we're happy to spend more time getting the money so that no one has to work for free. We're not quitting our jobs, but at least that was the plan, until we are funded, because we didn't want to, well, we do have financial obligations. So I hope this answers your question. It's a very long process. It's not that you decide to start your own company and then there's money. I mean, at least in our case, there wasn't money all of a sudden. And then obviously we're in the very early concepting phase of our first game. And once that really kicks off, that'll be another couple of years, actually. So I see another question. Oh, yep.
Yes, I'm seeing there are interesting questions on the chat as well. Maybe I can read them for you so that the people who are following us on YouTube can also get them.
Yep,
There's
please.
a question here on how much of an advantage was your background in starting your business and also economically?
I think that's a very good question. I think I would say not at all, but that's partly because the part of economics I did was more focused on development economics and labor market economics. So it had nothing to do with business. But maybe what it does say is that even though I was a game designer and I was doing a lot of very creative work, I mean, there's this really weird term called business acumen, which I think sounds horrible, but like maybe it does say a bit that I understood some of the basics of it, that I'm not a numbers genius, but I can handle an Excel sheet. And I think if you come from the very creative side, if you're more an artist, it's good to have someone on board who enjoys doing that, have a producer, a project manager. It doesn't have to be someone with a business degree. I think it's a bit overrated, and maybe it's one very specific type of mindset, and I'm not sure if we need more of that.
Yeah. There's also another question, I think, around leveraging communities. The question is, when you're starting up, did you join any startup groups? Did you have any support from your friends or people who just generally started their businesses?
Yes. So we, since both of us had been part of the industry for quite a while, we have been part of the community. We are both in different ways very involved with AMAZE. We've been attending a lot of conferences. Both of us studied something related to games, so we have the community there as well. So maybe that's to our benefits. And I also, maybe interesting, where I studied game design, a lot of people started their own game studio right out of school. And I always admired that, but I didn't want to do that. I felt like I was not ready for that. And I think it's totally fine to wait for your moment when you're ready for your own venture, for your own business, for your own indie game, whatever you want to do. It doesn't have to happen at the same time as it happens for others. And now I would say that we do have quite a big network, and that helps. But what helps even more is having a partner. I think that's the single one thing that I would recommend to everyone. Don't do it by yourself. Find someone that you want to do it with and have those discussions, because you need someone to bounce off your ideas. And yes, it might mean that you don't get it all your way, but I think that's even better, because someone will challenge your ideas. Hopefully you work with someone that is respectful and curious about you and admires you. I think, but it's good to have someone that you discuss those ideas with, to really make sure that the best ideas make it.
Yeah, I think I have a follow-up question on that, especially around team dynamics. I've been working with the entrepreneurs for a very long time, and I know how that plays a big role in especially starting, but also for things to move fast. How have you guys been able to go around the team dynamics? I know you mentioned that you've been speaking to each other for almost a year, which is always a good thing because there's chemistry. But now that you're working together as a business, how do you navigate the team dynamics?
Yes, that's a good question. So Leah and I, we've known each other for almost 10 years. So that maybe that helps. I think we are just, it's a very good question. I'm not sure if there's a one answer, but for us, yeah, talking a lot helps. We have very clearly divided responsibilities. So Leah is the creative partner, I'm the managing partner, and even though there are a lot of things we have to agree on both, it's clear that in certain areas, one or the other has the last word. It's also clear that I think in terms of personality, we don't have the biggest egos. We really respect the other person. We really admire the other person, and there's a lot of trust. So I know that if Leah makes a decision, I can trust her with that. I know that she will make the best decision for the product and for us, that she doesn't have a hidden agenda or is on an ego role. So it's tricky how to answer that question, because if you're struggling with people that have more dominant personalities, how do you deal with that? And I think you just need to have the courage to address it and to speak up about it, speak up about how you feel, or how you don't feel heard, or or get someone to facilitate that, to make sure that everyone has an equal say. Does that help?
Yes, it does, and it was really, really good answer. I think it's really necessary to be said, because I think the team dynamics is one of the reasons, even beyond investment, that most businesses fail. Because if there are issues before money comes in, once money comes in, those issues become even bigger. So I think it's a really good answer. Thank you for that. There's
Yeah.
a question here around gatekeepers in the industry. So I'd like to read it as they are. Susan says, I appreciate the fact that business should be based on purpose. And I think a lot of people feel that way, but they get held back or demotivated through gatekeepers and sometimes the big money companies. Did you encounter any problems with big companies or something similar to this?
So about gatekeepers, I think reality is as a woman, as a person of color or a Black person, I think we have an unfair disadvantage, and that's just like I could rant on that for a really long time because it really upsets me, but that is unfortunately right now the reality. So those things, there will be gatekeepers keeping us out of that. And maybe my mission, maybe that is my purpose actually, that I want that to change, and I want to I want that status quo to change, and my way of doing that is to hopefully become a successful businesswoman, that I can be more inclusive towards people starting out in this industry, wanting to start their business, to see them. And I think I'm bringing that up because I think there are a lot of gatekeepers, and most of them don't even realize, but you do run into this issue of when you speak to investors that the joke is that they all look the same. We had this, in Germany, are probably all called Thomas or Thomas. I think that is just a sad reality that we're facing right now, and you need to find the people that listen to you and have them propel you. I think that is that's the easiest way, and just don't give up. For us, it wasn't necessarily the big companies that are keeping us out. It's more that people that have money, they're investing in you, and they want security, and obviously they feel safest about what they know. So if someone has the same background as they do, if they look the same way, they feel more secure in investing in them. And I don't have an answer to it yet, if I'm honest. I think just keep on going. Don't get demotivated. I think there are enough people that are interested in you, and maybe sometimes we have to play the diversity card and look for those initiatives that promote diversity. And even if we hate it that we're labeled a diversity token, that's fine, if that is our way into the door.
Yeah, that's a good answer. There's this famous phrase on social media, go where you're wanted. And I think sometimes, especially when you're starting out and there are so many challenges, it's important to look for those opportunities that are welcoming to things you're trying to do. So that's a really good answer. Let's get a bit, excited.
I think one thing that I've noticed as well is that Corona or COVID-19, it's horrible, and I want it to be over, and I think we're all done with it. And but for us, it's been a bit of an advantage because a lot of events are online now.
Yeah.
So there are those meet and match events where you can sign up and you talk to investors or you talk to publishers. And usually you have to fly to San Francisco to meet with them and go to pay €1,000 for a GDC ticket, which is insane. And now you can get that for a lot less from home. And I think about that as an opportunity, even though times are definitely not great. But it allows us to be even more connected.
Yeah, that's honest. I think while it's a really bad situation we are going through right now globally, it has also opened a lot of opportunities for people who wouldn't have such things. And One of them is what you're talking about. I think a fun question now. I think I've been just too serious. What has been the most exciting thing about starting a business?
I think it's the drive.
Uh-huh.
Like I get up every morning and I just know what to do. Yeah, no one telling me what to do. Um, I'm just constantly motivated. And obviously the downside of this is that maybe uh, working a little too much, but I don't mind because I really believe in what we're doing and I think it's going to be great. And I can't wait to see where it's going because obviously, like I said, we're like at the very beginning of it. And I mean, this is not a 1-year project or a 2-year project. We created our dream employer where we want to be working for the next 5 to 10 years. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, that's probably been the most fun.
Yeah.
If you qualify that as fun.
It's fun. You don't feel like you're working, you're working, but you're motivated, you enjoy what you're doing, you're seeing the output. It's fun. I get you.
Yep.
For the participants, do you have any last questions? Or do you want to say anything about the workshop? Yes, Susan, please go ahead.
Yes, Franziska, I would really like to thank you for your incredible honesty and for sharing so much of your personal journey and experience with everyone, because I think this is one of the things that sometimes gets a little bit lost. Like there's behind every company, behind every idea, there's humans, and it's not nobody goes like this. It's a lot of up and downs. It's a lot of struggle. People have to motivate themselves over and over again. And I think it's really great to, at least for me, it was very relatable, all of the things you said and all of the really personal stuff you shared with us, because I think sometimes we forget about this. And it's really, really good to hear about somebody who struggled but didn't give up and just kept on going. And now you're here and you're motivated every day and every morning, and that's really awesome. So thank you so much for letting us in. Thank you.
Thank you. Roy?
Yes, all right, you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Sorry, my network had a bit of a problem there. My power went haywire. So anyway, thank you, Franziska, for taking your time. Really, I really appreciate it. It was fun. It was really much fun. But mostly, as we come to you and I listened to your story because I tried to follow also on YouTube as I was trying to log in. And I listened to your story. It's very inspiring, and I know sometimes it's very hard. Like, trust me, I've done a lot of trying, and seeing people like you come into the space and telling us like, let's just push it. I think that's what we need mostly, and yeah, so it's a good thing. It's a good thing having to meet you. Thanks.
And let me respond to that by saying that I go to industry events and I hear all those big people or those big names talking, and I'm always like, oh my God, there's so much better than me. They're so much more successful and so many things more. And like even before this workshop, like I wonder, do I even have the authority to tell you anything? And I think I guess in a way it's part of an imposter syndrome that many of us have, because we have not released the $1 million hit yet, and that's fine. It doesn't matter. Speak to the people in your community and share how you feel. Open a discussion, because like if we wait until we have that big success, well, maybe we'll never have it, but there are also many successful moments on the way of like feeling accomplished and having done something. And yeah, just don't be, I think Cliff and Roy, you could have also led this workshop because you have experience in your life as well. It would have had a different flavor, and that it would have been a great experience for everyone participating. So just don't be shy, or think you're not yet there to speak up or to present or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. There's a comment on YouTube who echoes what Anisha, Anisha, she echoes what Susan said about, you sharing your stories and being honest and open with us, and I actually agree with them. So thank you so much for opening up yourself to us and for allowing us to see you from that perspective, learn from your experiences, and leading this wonderful workshop.
Thank you.
I don't know how to do that yet, but
So do like this.
okay.
And then you turn in the center.
It's that easy. Okay, yeah. Yes, there you go. Thank you. Do you have anything else to say? Yes, yes. Yes,
Oh.
you.
Well, thank you. Thank you to wonderful participant. Thank you for the feedback in the comments. Thank you to everyone who followed us on YouTube, which is actually a really scary thing because it's a whole other world out there. But I'm also glad you enjoyed it. And yeah, thank you.
So thank you so much. We appreciate you. We appreciate all the participants for joining us. Thank you. It was a very engaging session. You can go and check the Miro board. I think it's public. And you can learn from that process as well. You can rewatch this workshop and try it with your team. It's a really wonderful exercise to get to understand your purpose and the reason to why you're doing things you're doing. I'd like to thank our partners, Aga Khan University, for allowing us to experience this wonderful studio. I would like to thank Alliance Francais, Goethe-Institut in Kenya, and all our amazing partners, the bus for streaming this entire festival, and also for participants for signing up. We have another workshop at 2 p.m. Please make sure you join us for that. But other than that, thank you so much. We have loved having you following us and continuing to engage us. Until 2 p.m., bye-bye.